Well, hello there, Retro PC Durham. Chris here. We've got another tower to look at today, this clone machine. This tower's in pretty good shape, although there's a little bit of damage to the front end of the system here. You can see whatever plastic panel, was here kind of broke away, but the power button still works. And then the USB port is missing off this part of the front panel. So there's only one USB port and then our audio ports, and we've got our optical drive. Flip around to the back. We've got our power supply. It does have a on-off switch, and then we've got our older layout, I guess you could say, for this machine. Keyboard and mouse ports, audio ports, USB Ethernet still has parallel and serial ports, and then we've got a VGA card installed in here. And you'll notice that this doesn't have any onboard graphics as well. So let's open it up and get a top-down view. Take a look at the hardware inside this little beast. Looking inside the case now here, let's take a look at our hardware components. So system board here, we have this full-size MSI board. The sticker that's on here gives a brand of a K9N Neo version 3. And then that's an AMD, obviously, an AMD board. You can see from the big cooler here that does have some copper pipes on it on here. So this is an Athlon X2 processor. And we'll take a look at the specific model when we get booted up. We've got 4 DIMM slots. I've got 1 gig of RAM installed into each of these. And then we've got our allocation of PCI and PCIe slots available here as well. And then we've got a graphics card installed in here. I'm starting to run a little low on PCIe graphics cards, so I'll say we're scraping the bottom of the barrel for this video in terms of this particular build at this moment in time. Hard drive, we've got a 2.5-inch hard drive, which is mounted into a specific slot in here. I'm also running low on 3.5-inch hard drives, SATA hard drives right now, so I have lots of laptop hard drives from a recent donation. So we're using a 2.5-inch drive there, and then we've got our optical drive. I've got tons of IDE optical drives, so I'm using a DVD RAM drive, and I've got this nice wrapped up cable here that we're plugging into the IDE controller for this system as well. So I'm going to get the lid back on, and we're going to set this up and show off what this machine's going to look like as far as donation with the rest of its accessories. Well, here's our setup. So it's a little bit different than what I usually would be setting up, mainly because of what's going on right here with the screen. So instead of a regular LCD monitor, I've got this television that someone had been giving away. And when I went to pick it up, the day I went to pick it up, I thought it was like a big screen LCD screen in the advertisement with the person, and when I picked it up I saw it was just a regular TV, but I figured I'm already here, I'm going to take it. So I brought it home. They said they didn't think it worked. It works fine. It's a, as you can see, pretty big. I think it's 24 inches, and it's only 1024 by 768 resolution, so it's not great. But I figured I'm going to keep it. I'll keep it around and see, if I ever get a machine to work with it. Maybe build like a retro machine that's, got low resolution anyway, but with the larger screen size would be kind of cool. Anyways, it's been sitting around for a while, and I figured, hey, I've got this machine that's got a graphics card that's not great and is going to be running the Microsoft Basic Display Adapter anyway. So we'll just run it like this. Paired up with a older Microsoft USB mouse. But then we've got a PS2 IBM keyboard, which isn't it's not a super comfortable keyboard to type on. So I don't know if at some point in time IBM was like, hey, we're going to have our good keyboards, but then we're also going to have these really squishy keyboards that suck. This is the case. So it looks like a nice keyboard, but it's not actually that great to type on. Anyways, I'm going to hit the power button, and we're going to boot this puppy up. You'll notice right away, or you might hear it, we'll hear it when we get closer to the machine. The case fan on this is pretty loud as well, and I'm pretty sure it's because the system board, the case fan, it runs loud, but I'm not sure if the system board just doesn't have like fan control at all. So it's pretty loud all the time, and never actually runs quiet at all. So here we're booted up into Windows now, and you can probably already tell a pretty low resolution that's going on here. So let's get a push into the screen here as close as we can with the size of it, and we'll take a look at our hardware specs and whatnot. Now with hardware info up and running here, we'll take a look at our specs. We have this Athlon 64 X2 6000 Plus, codename Windsor. This is a 2-core non-hyper-threaded processor, and it runs upwards of 3 gigahertz. I didn't do any overclocking on the motherboard. So this MSI MS7369 board does have overclocking support, but I usually don't bother doing anything like that on these donation machines. They're not going to be used for gaming. I don't want to set anything up on the system that is possibly going to reset and then, offer, a change in performance or something, and the person who's using this is not going to be like computer savvy or enthusiast at all. So they're not necessarily going to know what to do to fix it. So yeah, just basic standard stuff on here. Graphics wise, we've got X300, so this AMD Radeon graphics card, 128 megabytes. It is not supported under Windows 10. So the X anything, X000 processor line is not supported under Windows 10, which means you use the Microsoft Basic Display Adapter. And then we've got this television that we're hooked up to at 1024 by 768, so it works okay. Memory-wise, we've got 4 gig of RAM. So there's 4 independent 4 gig sticks. That could be upgraded. I believe this system will take up to 8 gig of RAM, maybe even 16. I'm not entirely sure. I didn't research that heavily in terms of the Athlon 64's maximum memory capability, but I think it's 8 gig. And then hard drive, we've got that Toshiba 320 gig 2.5-inch drive, and we've got a DVD RAM drive in here as well. So pretty decent machine overall in terms of specs. The graphics being a little bit limited as a result of the card and the monitor. But let's take a look and see how this thing handles some YouTube video action. Now, one of the nice things, I guess, about having the television hooked up is it's got built-in speakers. So I've got an audio cable hooked up into this one. And now whoever's going to get it doesn't need to get a headset or something to hook up with it, which most of the desktops that I donate, I don't have audio to include with them. Let's take a look and see how this thing handles at 720p, our crab rate test. Couple frames getting dropped at the beginning here. The birds flying look pretty good. Notice a little tiny bit of hesitation on it and on the waves. So it's okay. We'll see once we get through the cave scene here at the beginning if it has any other noticeable hesitation or anything like that. The audio seems fine. I know it's a little bit muted out by the sound of the case fan. Yeah, this is pretty good, right? We're at 1% frame drops, which is kind of the minimum level that I want to see in terms of a quality experience. So at a 1024 by 576 viewport, we're running 720p, and we're getting good quality, no hesitation. This is a pretty decent experience. So overall, I'm happy. Sure, the screen could be a little bit better quality and the case fan could be a little bit quieter, but overall, this is a good machine that's ready to get donated, and I'm happy with the result. I hope you've been happy watching this video and like it enough maybe to subscribe to the channel. As always, I hope you are staying safe and healthy, and we'll catch you in the next one.